Today, I am pleased to be joined by my good friend, Anna Hatch. But more than that, Anna and I are actually first cousins, thanks to our fabulous mothers being sisters. Thanks, Anna. You can wave to the camera. Um, Anna, how does it feel to be the first blood relative of mine here on Date Like the Movies?
So good, Brent. I always knew I was your favorite cousin, so it's just nice to have that like confirmation to
Ah,
me that I really am.
hopefully, my other cousins are not listening to that. Part,
Off the record, of
but
course.
yeah, happy to have you here. For the listeners out there, Anna is located out in Utah. She has been dating a guy who I'm excited to hear more about. Has a boyfriend of 7 months, and I just found this out about Anna. She has this hobby of junk journaling, which I'm not exactly sure
That's it.
what that is, but it sounds like it's a new age scrapbooking, is how I'm going to interpret that.
Seriously, yes.
But Anna, welcome to Day Like the Movies.
Thank you. I'm excited to be
You're
here.
welcome. Now, as we get into the movie we'll be talking about, I have to start by saying for any of the female listeners out there, today's movie is one that I beg of you, do not emulate this in the dating world. Okay, so there's my disclaimer. Just going to throw that out there as we kick this one off. The movie I'm talking about is a romantic comedy released in 2003, over 20 years ago. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, starring Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey. For those not familiar with the movie, Hudson plays the role of Andie Anderson, who is a writer for the women's magazine Composure with the focus on the how-to column, though she desires to write about more serious topics in the future. McConaughey, meanwhile, plays the role of Benjamin Barry, an advertising executive looking to take the lead role in a prestigious campaign for a diamond company. Ben's boss questions if he knows enough about romance and women to be the right choice for the diamond campaign, to which Ben responds that he can make any woman fall in love with him. We'll talk more about that here in just a bit. But get this, he has just 10 days before the company ball to make that bold statement happen, to make a woman fall in love with him. Andie, meanwhile, begins her next how to project, as in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which actually started in large part to prove a point about her friend Michelle's latest breakup. Andie's boss is fully behind this idea, promising her that she can write about anything she wants to if this turns into a success. In essence, we have Andie, we have Ben, and they're both looking to branch out from their usual roles with their current employers. Naturally, Ben and Andie get together, each with ulterior motives. Ben with the goal of making her fall in love with him, while Andie's goal is to drive him away using all of the classic dating mistakes that women make, losing him, all in the matter of just 10 days. First up, Anna, let's talk about first dates, because the way this movie starts with Andie and Ben getting together, Ben has the competition for the Diamond campaign from two women who also want that role at the same company, and so they are the ones who pick Andie as the woman that Ben has to make fall in love. And so they meet up at an outing, and the first date is actually over dinner, and then they go back to his place, afterwards as well. So I want to ask you though, what's one of the most memorable first dates you've been on? Is there anything that comes to mind? It could be good or bad, I suppose. Memorable could be many different things, but anything stand out?
There was one first day I had with my now
Yeah.
boyfriend where we drove out to see some caves, and I was honestly a little creeped out, but it's very memorable. But we like went to these caves and like pitch black inside, but they were really cool looking, and we were just messing around and playing in these caves, and we're acting like 2-year olds, honestly, but it's very memorable, obviously, and super fun. It
That's awesome. So who planned that day? Was that you or was that your boyfriend with that idea?
was my
Was your
boyfriend.
boyfriend?
Yeah.
What was it about the date that was the highlight for you, or that really made it fun and memorable?
I guess it's like the energy was high, and there wasn't a lot of I feel like for me, I hate first dates because I feel like you're trying to figure each other out a little bit and you don't know if they're being themselves or not. But right away from the first date, like I knew he was being himself because he was being very goofy and very weird. So I knew like, yeah, like, this is what I'm getting myself into, and he's fun and he makes me laugh, kind of thing. Yeah, I think that's like the most memorable part for me is that was a really good first impression. This is who you are.
In the dating world, especially, we try to be somebody we're not often. And it sounds like in your
Yeah.
case, what worked well was just being yourself, him being himself, and you could tell he was being himself because usually you don't pretend to be goofy. Yeah, yeah, no, um,
Yeah. Not that
yeah,
goofy.
awesome. In the
Mhm.
movie, the first
Mhm.
conversation that Ben and Andy have, do you remember their first conversation?
They're talking about, like, their I know at some point, like, they talk about their careers a little
It's
bit.
it's like
Maybe
it's definitely feels like a made for Hollywood conversation because
Mhm.
it's they meet up and the conversation back and forth is like they're each saying one word. He says one word, she says one word, he
Oh,
says one word, she says
no,
one, and
exactly.
then they just take off together on his motorcycle. I'm not sure how often that happens like
Yes.
that, but it feels like a Hollywoodized moment. I wanted to ask you though about your first conversation with your now boyfriend and how that was and was it awkward at all, and just to shed some light into that conversation.
I think probably our first conversation, I actually went over with a group of friends to his place to watch a basketball game, and I know nothing about
That's
basketball at
that's
this
about
point.
the movie's got
He's just like
basketball. That's perfect. Yeah, it's a great time.
yeah, no, that's exactly so good. I have, yeah, no idea of how basketball works at this point and anything, any knowledge about this. And so I just feel very like, this kind of weird because I just feel like I'm sitting here listening to this conversation. But yeah, I think that's probably our first interaction conversation a little bit. But we didn't like talk a whole lot one on one, but
How long did you
that kind of enough.
know him before you officially started dating?
Um, I met him very, very briefly, like 3 years ago. Then we started talking last summer, and then stopped for a little bit, and then we picked up again in October and talked for a while before we started officially dating.
You mentioned you hate first dates. I feel like that is common. I would like to think most people, uh, there's a lot of anxious feelings, your nervous feelings, how is this going to go? Who's this? All those types of things. Is there anything that you do to prepare for like a first date?
Oh, I'm probably not the best person to
Do you have a
ask,
routine? Do you have like a
honestly.
dating routine?
Go in my head and get super anxious and stressed out like crazy, and then they kind of pick me up, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like I don't want to go on this date anymore. I changed my mind," and then I'll go on it and it'll be fine.
I love the
And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm stressed over nothing." But it's the same cycle every time. I mean, it's been a while since I've been on a first date
hmm
now, but what I remember, yeah,
yeah.
I'm not the best at preparing for first dates, but
Hey, I didn't.
that's how it
Yeah, I
ended
didn't
up.
say how you had to prepare. I mean, maybe the preparation is just mental stress, and that's what it is.
It's true. It's true. That was mine.
Outside of caving, which is a cool activity, any other ideas you'd have for your listeners on good first date activities? Maybe to take some of that pressure off, right? Like everyone's nervous. What are some good activities to help with that?
Doing adventurous stuff, like doing things where you can like be active together. Doing something so it's not just, "Let's sit here and eat ice cream and talk about each other a lot on the first date." 'Cause that's kinda scary to me because I feel like we're both trying to, like, figure each other out and interview each other, whereas if we have a basis of, like, a fun relationship at first, like that friendship base, where we do something fun together, the next date we can talk more one-on-one and stuff, and I mean, like, you can still do that on a first date, with adventurous stuff, but I mean, like, um, kind of lame, but I mean, like, you go play Pokemon Go somewhere
Okay.
together, um go, yeah, on a walk, can go to caves, waterfalls. We have, like, a lot around here in Utah, a lot of waterfalls that are
Yeah.
really fun to go visit.
Awesome ideas. And the reason I bring that up too, tying back to the movie, is I'm not a fan, and I've said this before in earlier episodes, of dinner on first dates. And that's what it
Yeah.
is in the movie. They meet up quickly, and the first thing they're doing is they're going out to a restaurant to eat. I think they're eating lobster or something, like with their hands or something like that. Um, but yeah, to your point on, first dates or even, second dates, early dates, it's nice to have an activity where you can naturally interact without having to be an
Yeah.
entire conversation, which is
Yes.
that gets stiff. It's hard to be natural, and it's hard to be yourself sometimes too, I think, in those settings.
Yeah. Yep.
I have to ask, by the way, were these caves, were they like tight to fit into these caves? Claustrophobic-ish? Okay. Okay.
Yes. The opening is like you go right in and it's like hey squeezing like oh my gosh I'm gonna die, but once you get in then it's like this huge opening inside of it, but going into it is like kind of claustrophobic, so I was like oh my gosh this guy's gonna take me to a cave and murder me here, but I'm gonna be real fun so that's good at least.
I might struggle with that if it's some tight spaces. Let's talk about our friend Ben Barry, because he made that bold statement. I can make anybody, any woman, fall in love with me in 10 days. Comes off as, depending on your perspective, extremely confident or very cocky. How do you view it?
I would say cocky just because he's very like yeah like I can do it, and he's very open about saying that he can do it. If he was just confident he could make girls do it, fall in love with him, I feel like he would have just have done it to do it and not make a bet out of it. Because I feel like that's very cocky to make a bet that can make a girl fall in love with you in 10
Is
days.
that how you see the difference between confidence and cockiness?
Yeah, kind of. I feel like the more they like brag about it and bring it up as like a point for them and like make it about them, I feel like that's more cocky. Whereas confidence is just kind of an unsaid thing, but you can feel it around them, like their energy.
You're so confident that you don't
Yeah.
have to talk about it, because it's like who you
Yeah.
are, and it's just part of who you are. Where cockiness is like, gotta let people know how awesome you are. When, hey, you can just be awesome without telling people you're awesome.
Yeah.
So, is confidence important to you in an attribute in a significant other?
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like it's very
Yeah.
important.
Okay. Any other traits in thinking of, like in considering a significant other, that you would say are some of your most important attributes that you look for in somebody else?
For me, I can be a pretty sensitive and emotionally in tune person. So something that's really important to me is having a partner that's very aware of emotions and validating in that stuff, but also for themselves as well. I feel like there's this toxic trait we say that men have a lot where it's like, oh, like they're fine, they don't go through like anxious moments or depression or anything. A man that can be aware of his emotions and expressing those to me and be vulnerable is super important to me because the more vulnerable you are with each other, the more you can connect and grow together and help each
Yeah.
other.
I think that's how the trust builds. Um,
Yeah.
when you have those vulnerable moments. Um, and yeah, this could be maybe a conversation for another day. Um, but I think there are a lot of things that society bases on, both women and men, but differently.
Yeah.
And I think one for men sometimes is, you're supposed to be strong. You're not supposed to have these feelings. You're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to,
Yeah.
you have to be strong. And to your point, everybody has feelings, and being able to express those, um, is important. So yeah. Anything else?
For me, I want to have a future family, so how my partner interacts with children and their confidence around children, how they work with kids and interact with them is super important to me. And just like family values, I guess, the big one for me. Someone that's very hardworking. That's a really
Mhm.
important quality for me. That's just like they have goals and ambitions, like they work to achieve them, and it's not just like a pipe dream for them that they get what they want and work for it.
Do you see any? of these attributes in Ben in the movie?
In the scene where they go to visit his family, he's interacting with his nieces and nephews there,
Hmm.
right? Well, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. It's attractive, good trait to have. And you can tell they adore him, so he like does really good with them. His goal and ambition is to be over this for work for like the diamond to represent it and everything. He's like doing all this to prove a girl can fall in love with him in 10 days to achieve his work goal. I mean, yeah, he's using her, so probably not the best example, but he does have like he works hard for what he wants and puts a lot of effort into his goals.
We'll talk about the family scene. That's a great scene towards the end of the movie,
Mhm.
where they go to Staten Island is where they go.
Yeah.
And that family, again, visiting the family in like, 7 days or whatever it is, which seems, but again, the whole relationship is just lightning fast. Um, you know,
Yeah.
one thing I have heard before, and you'll have to tell me how you feel about this, which goes to your point on
Okay.
interacting around family, is watch how a man treats his mother. I've heard
Mhm.
that's a good sign for a man that would be good to a long-term partner, right? You're nodding along, so you would agree that that's a
Yeah.
good thing to
Yeah.
see. Okay.
I agree with it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talked about confidence and cockiness. Now going from those C words to the L words, because there's a conversation that Ben has with two of his the colleagues, coworkers, friends
Mhm.
that he works with, and the topic of lust and love comes up. What do you view as the difference between love and lust?
Yeah, I feel like still something I'd love to learn more about, I guess, or like understand more. But I heard this person say one time about the difference between lust and love is lust is using another person for your own gratification and your own desires, versus love is working together for those desires, I guess, and also like doing things for that person because you love them. That's what I've used for my definition is like, oh, I'm like, am I using this person for me? Then that's lust. If I'm using my attributes to help them and to love them, to show my love and affection to them, then I feel like that's love more.
Yeah, I love that. I've never heard of it explained, I don't think, like that before. Do you have any rules about when to tell somebody you love them?
Not really.
Okay.
I'm like, every, um, my boyfriend told me he loved me first, and it really freaked me out. I was in shock. I was like, whoa, like,
How soon? I
this
have
goes
to ask,
against
how,
everything
how
I've heard.
soon from
Yeah.
dating to him saying that?
So, so we had been talking exclusively for 2.5 months when he told me he loved me. But we had been dating officially for like, I think it was like 15 days, somewhere around there.
Now, okay, when you
So
said
I
you
was
when
just
you
like,
said you
oh
had been
my God.
talking as well, does that mean it was long distance?
Yeah. Yeah. So we were long distance for a while and we would switch on and off coming up because I was up in Idaho and he was down here in Utah. So we would switch on and off to come see each other on the weekends sometimes and everything. We knew like we wanted to date, but we just wanted to take it pretty slowly. So I'd say it was pretty exclusive and we know that's where it was going. But yeah, officially dating compared to when he told me he loved me was 15 days. So I was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. Almost
Maybe he
kind of
watched
freaked me out a
maybe he
little.
watched How You Lose a Guy in 10 Days and it was like trying his best Ben impersonation to like speed things up.
That's exactly what he
Exactly.
did. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe he'll watch this episode. Who knows?
It's one of my favorites. So show him the movie and watch the
You said you
episode.
got freaked out. Does that mean did you not say it back?
Yeah, I didn't say
Man,
it back right
okay.
then.
That's okay.
He's proud of it because he said, you don't have to say anything right now, and I don't want to pressure you into saying anything. I just need to let you know how I feel because I don't want to keep it in and such. I was like, okay, like,
Was it
thanks.
on the phone or was it in person?
No, it was in person. So,
In person.
yeah.
Did you eventually say it to him?
Yes. Yeah, I eventually said it to him. He told me right before we left to go our separate ways for Christmas. So all during that break, I was just, like, oh my gosh, like, do I love him or not? Like, this is crazy. He loves me. And just trying to like work through what I was feeling and everything. And the more I thought about it and the longer I was away from him, I'm like, yeah, like I do. I love him a lot. And so when we got back together, I think it was the beginning of January, we were in person and I told him I loved him. And he has like the slowest reaction sometimes when he just like sat there shocked with his mouth open for a little bit. Then he processed it and it was really sweet. But
That's awesome. I love that. I'm getting all the scoop on this episode. We're going to do an intermission on this episode, Anna. This intermission is called Andie's Antics. What I have here for you is 10 of the insane, crazy ways that she, uh, things that she did to lose Ben. Now, I should say there's more than 10. If you watch that movie, she does more than 10 things. I narrowed it down to 10 items. Your job, Anna, for Andie's Antics is to rank them from most awful
oof.
to least awful of these 10 items. I'll walk us through it and I'll move them around on the board as you rank these.
Okay.
So, first up on the left hand side, we have the future family scrapbook. So, she actually gets in touch with Ben's mom and makes these like photoshopped family pictures of the future kids. It's nuts. We've got she acts loudly and obnoxious at a movie theater, which leads to Ben getting punched by a much larger, stronger moviegoer that's in there. She makes him miss the final shot of an NBA game to go get her like a Diet Coke, or something. The bait and switch is when she has Ben thinking he's going to another basketball game. Instead, it's a Celine Dion concert. This one's crazy, Anna. In the bottom left here, they're eating out at a restaurant, and she loudly, you're nodding because you remember the scene, she loudly proclaims, "My boyfriend thinks I'm fat," in public at a restaurant. That one's there. She decorates his apartment with girly stuff, toiletries, a pink toilet seat, you name it. She's decorating like probably 2 days in to this 10 days. She fakes being a vegetarian after he cooks this amazing meal. She fakes being a vegetarian. Awful. The poker night ambush is, in my opinion, one of the funniest scenes in the movie. She basically sabotages his guy's night with cucumber sandwiches and whatever crazy stuff she does. She leaves 17 voicemail messages for him in a row. I think that's a bit excessive in my mind. And then at the end here, couples counseling. She sets up couples counseling for them to go to with her friend, not even a real counselor in the movie too. Anna, anyone stand out as the most awful of the 10?
Oh my gosh, they're all pretty
Yes,
bad.
they are.
My boyfriend thinks I'm fat is so bad just because such a taboo thing, and like it was in front of the whole restaurant, everyone heard, and the looks they gave him and the judgment was so crazy. So I feel like that
There we go. Up at the
gotta be
top. Up
pretty
at the
low.
top. My boyfriend
Yeah.
thinks I'm fat. All right, number 2.
Um, let's see. I think Punch at the Movie Theater is pretty bad because she was being so
That's a pet peeve of
obnoxious.
mine
Like,
too. That's a big pet peeve. Like if you're going to a movie, be respectful. But anyway, go
yeah,
go on.
great. Exactly. Um, okay, what else? I'd probably say missing the final shot of the NBA game because you could tell he was super into it. Like he just wanted to be there watching the game.
That's a
So
huge one for me as a basketball fan. And it doesn't say this here. It was the NBA Finals. It was like, you know, playoff game, NBA Finals, and yeah, he misses the end because she pretends she's thirsty.
yeah, yeah. So definitely that one. I would do probably Punch at the Movie Theater. Then after that
Okay.
one, then I'd say probably couples counseling setup is pretty crazy. Actually, their conversations they have are so funny. I feel like in that because She totally is just lying about how he gets angry with her all the time and that he's bored of her. And I love the line he uses in there when he's like, "Girl, you got enough personalities to keep me occupied." Just feel the tension.
Couples counseling after like
Um,
a week of dating, and they're in there with couples counseling.
then I do the poker night ambush. That one's pretty rough for Ben.
Yep,
Yeah,
just is nuts. Yeah, yep.
yeah. Then I would do the future family scrapbook. That one's crazy. I can't imagine giving a scrapbook of like, oh, my kids could live with a man after, I don't know, it was less than 10 days. Like
By the
that's a bit
way,
crazy.
ugliest kids ever. Like if you watch that movie
Yeah.
back, like watch the movie, zoom in on the scrapbook. Most kids are cute, not those photoshopped ones. Nope.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Next I'd do the girly apartment. And then the 17 voicemail
Yep,
messages.
yep. That one's pretty wild.
And then I do the bait and switch. And then fake vegetarian
Okay.
for the last one.
There's your list.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty good.
very good. We started out as thinking I'm fat, and we ended with faking the vegetarian. This is exactly why I started by saying, let's not emulate this. Let's not emulate this out in the dating world. But it does make for good TV. It makes for a fun movie.
Hollywood.
Nice job, Anna. You have passed Andie's Antics.
Thank you.
Congratulations. If you were in Andie's shoes, of course, hypothetically speaking, this is all hypothetical because you would never, sink to that level. Uh, Anything that you would add or that you would do if you were like trying to drive a guy away?
I mean, it's kind of like a sly one, not as crazy as Andy's, but like not taking interest in the things that he likes, not trying to learn more about them and everything, but purposefully acting bored and being bored and be like, dude, like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Like, I'm bored or I'm zoning out. Let's go do something else. I think that would be pretty big for a guy to be like, I don't want a girl that doesn't want to be interested in the things I have to say or things that interest me. Like, yeah,
You could
I think
even,
that'd be pretty.
if you're going for like Andie level, you could sabotage it. You could go
Yeah.
on whatever he wants to take you on, and then while you're there, your whole plan is to sabotage it, make it
Yes.
miserable. Um, now I've got my head
Topic.
spinning now with all these possibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like a common theme in the movie is differences between men and women. Do you have anything that you wish men knew or tried to understand more about women?
I don't want to speak for myself, but I feel like when I've talked to about this have also agreed, some of them. But I feel like women just think a lot. Like if they bring something up to you, chances are they've been thinking about it a whole lot. They put a lot of time and energy into thinking about it and what they want to do. So if they come with you to you and be like, I don't know, it's something. Example. Okay, I can't think of one off the top of my head, but um just if they come with you, it's something they want to discuss or just like an insight or whatever. They put a lot of thought. Not saying that like men don't, men totally could, but sometimes it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. But it's like spending the whole day overthinking this whole thing. I need you to talk me through it a little bit or something. I feel like is important for knowing that. Yeah, we
I think that
just
ties
think a
back
lot.
to your first date thinking too a little bit with
Yes.
just the mind's not stopping. That's a common thing I think for a lot of people, but I think it's that mentality of just giving lots of thought, and it makes sense too. To again back to my question of wishing men understood that more about women,
Yeah.
because if we did, or not saying not everyone does, but if we did understand that better, we would take what you're saying or what you're thinking about more seriously, right? Like if we I think
Yeah.
that's kind of the heart of the question and that topic. Let's talk about the five love languages. I know that we're both fans. We are both believers of the five love languages. I've actually read multiple versions. The first one more than once. I've read the men version. I have read the children's version. I remember the first time I read the first book, it made so much sense to me, this concept of the love languages. And so I was an instant believer. Anna, but why don't you explain for our listeners who are not as familiar with the five love languages what it is?
Yeah, so the love languages are like 5 different ones. There's words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, receiving gifts, and physical touch. They're just supposed to be ways that like you express love, but also love or or feel loved. Most people will have one that they generally lean towards more than the other. Like you probably don't like all 5 of them the exact same amount. So it's nice to know what you like and what people you love like so you can show up for them more.
People appreciate different things, and people feel loved differently, uh, than
Mhm.
somebody else would. What do you consider to be your top love languages? What's your top?
Quality time is definitely my number 1. I'm super big on uninterrupted, purposeful quality time together is really important to me. I also love physical touch a lot. I do love just, like, the hand holding, the cuddling is very important to me. Um, and words of affirmation are probably, like, my top 3.
Which then just leaves acts of service and receiving gifts. Is there any one that you say is probably at the bottom for you?
Probably gifts. I mean, I love receiving a thoughtful gift, but I'm not like, "Oh my gosh, like, I feel so loved," if you give me a gift. If
I had
it's
this.
not, like, super
That's
thoughtful.
interesting. And gifts, I say gifts is at the bottom for me too, in terms of receiving gifts.
Mhm.
However, I enjoy giving a thoughtful gift. So I really enjoy giving a
Yes.
thoughtful gift, but just receiving gifts, I would also put that as the bottom for me. And my top is, I would say, acts of service, actually. I view that
Hmm,
one up at the top. However, I feel like depending on my phase of life, the order switches too. So
I could believe that for sure.
it's not always the same.
Yeah.
What I wanted to talk with you about the movie, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, is moments of the five love languages that I watched and witnessed as I watched the movie the most recent time. We just went through a whole listing of awful things that Andie does, and now we're going to talk about some of the positives. There were actually some positive moments. You just have to look deep for them. You have to really look deep to find them.
Yeah.
Um, and more often than not, they are from Ben to Andie because, again, he's the one trying to make her fall in love with him. So, what I have for you, Anna, is a few for each love language that occurred in the movie, and I just want you to tell me your choice. Thinking in terms of
Okay.
from your significant other, which of these options would make you feel the most loved? That's it.
Okay.
Words of affirmation. We will start there.
Okay.
If your significant other told you they missed you, said you are beautiful, said that you look gorgeous, or called you their sweetheart, all used in How These Got in 10 Days, which one would kind of be your favorite?
Probably I miss you. That one is going. And then, like, they're thinking about you. I like that one.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. It's nice to be missed, especially you had
Yes.
some long distance, it sounds like, too, in your relationship, your
Yeah.
current relationship, and so I could see that one being really meaningful. Yeah. Acts of service. Couple here. One, he does get her the pop at the game. That was an act of service, even though it was
Mhm.
kind of under a bad motive. We're not talking about the motive. We're just talking about the act itself. So let's just talk about the act itself. Got her the pop at the game. Um, Also, being taken care of after you get hurt. He makes a comment there around it was awful getting punched after the movie, but I liked how she took care of me.
Mhm.
So getting taken care of when you're hurt,
Yeah.
or um, if your significant other cooks you dinner, Which of those three with the active service?
I do like when dinner is cooked for me. That is pretty nice. I will say that. I've enjoyed that a lot in my relationship. He's the cook more, and so I like
Is he
it.
a good
It's
cook?
very nice. Yeah, he's getting to be a lot better. He didn't, like, cook at all before, um, but then when I moved down here and we, like, weren't long distance anymore, we're like, "Yeah, like, we wanna cook together and everything," and now he does most of the
Wow.
cooking, so it's very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. We should add that to your list of attributes in a significant other. You can add cook,
Yes.
being a good cook on the list.
It's important.
Quality time. All right, quality time. Let's say going to a basketball game, or it could just be a sporting event. Going to a movie. They actually go see Sleepless in Seattle is the movie
Mm,
they go to. So movie, basketball game, going out to dinner, or taking you for a motorcycle ride. There's also that in the movie as well.
yes. Say probably the motorcycle ride.
Why?
I think that would be really I like that it's not like you're watching something together, like, I love that, but I love that, like, you're present with each other. Does that make
Hmm.
sense? 'Cause I mean, like, I love doing those and there's a time and place, but for, like, my quality time specifically that I love, it's we don't have distractions around us. We're, like, doing something together. And so I like that aspect of the motorcycle ride, where you could just focus on each other and riding the motorcycle and what's around you. Yep.
Receiving gifts. They've got some interesting options for you in the receiving gift category. 100 roses. This is after, I believe, their first date, perhaps. He has a lot of roses. I think it is 100. Shows up at her office. Or would you prefer to receive a baby fern, which is a big theme in the movie? Would you prefer to receive a Chinese crested dog? I think is the dog that she kind of gives him. Or would you prefer a plaid shirt to match your significant other? We got
Yeah.
roses, plaid shirt, dog, or a baby fern.
You can go pretty basic in the roses, honestly. I love a good
I
flower.
made that one too easy. I made that one too easy. I should have left that one off. How
I would love getting a fern. I think that'd be fun.
about the plaid shirt? Do you want to match your boyfriend or not so much?
Maybe not in a plaid shirt. Maybe that's what's throwing me off. Uh,
Lastly, physical touch. There were a lot of options on physical touch. One scene, he places his hand on her back and lets her go in front of him, like out the door. So like they're walking together, and he has his hand on her back, kind of making sure she's going in front of him. How about sitting behind him on the motorcycle? Because picture that moment. We talked about it in quality time, but it's also a physical touch. You're together, right, on the
yeah.
motorcycle. The kiss cam at the sporting event. They're on the kiss cam. So I have to ask you how you feel about that. Or would you prefer being kissed on the cheek or hugging while watching a movie? So I actually have 5 options there. Hand on the back, motorcycle ride, kiss cam, cheek kiss, hugging during the movie.
The hand on the back one. I don't know why I like that one, but I just feel like it makes me feel like safe and looked after a little bit, maybe.
I love that.
I don't know.
It's interesting when you watch this movie or any movie and you have like this specific mindset of what you're watching for, as I did this last time, and you pick up on those moments where I probably never noticed that before until I watched it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, he does do that. And so you pick up on some of these things. And I saw a lot of love languages.
Yeah. Makes a ton.
Do you have any advice around balancing the love languages in a relationship?
Yeah, it's one that I feel like I'm constantly still learning. It was nice that me and my boyfriend were pretty, like, upfront with each other about our love languages. I used to be really scared to, like, tell him, like, what I needed from him or, like, wanted in my love languages, but, the more, like, upfront I've been like, "Hey, like, I need, like, this quality time with you," or, like, we're just present together. And yeah, like, then he'll He's like, "Oh, okay, like, that's great." And so he'll make time for me and goes out of his way to create that environment where I can feel loved and supported. It's important for me 'cause, his love language is actually quality time too, but his is like, yeah, I could just be sitting with him and he feels great. We could be watching a movie, watching a basketball game, I could just be sitting by him and he's great. But for me, I'm like, if we're not talking or, like, just fully present with each other, like, it doesn't help me. Sitting there and being like, "Hey, I can sit here and love him because this is important to him." But then vice versa, balancing those is lifelong learning curve, I feel like a little bit, but I feel like even just in the short time we've been dating, we've gotten better at recognizing, what we need from each other to feel loved and everything.
I feel like the most important thing though that you nailed is the communication aspect of it,
Yeah,
where initially it was hard for you to tell him what you needed, and then you opened up, and he was very responsive because I
right.
think that's so important. If it's the opposite way, where if you open up about something you need, or something you're struggling with, or something you're thinking about, it could be a number of different things. If you feel
Yeah.
shot down, or if you feel dismissed, next time, guess what? Probably not going to open up. Which I
Yeah,
think that's where the
exactly.
hesitation comes from initially, because you're not sure how it's going to be received. Um,
Yes.
it also sounds like he was already very familiar with the love languages himself. Yeah,
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 it's very
yeah.
nice.
That's awesome too. Let's get back to Ben and Andie with talking about good Andie and bad Andie. Ben first to this, and you mentioned it in the couples counseling scene is a prime example of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the split personality thing that Ben
Yeah.
just cannot for the life of him figure out. Do you have any experience dating somebody similarly? Maybe not to that extent, but where it was felt like you were dating multiple people. You just could not figure them out.
Sometimes,
Okay.
yes. I guess there's, like, this one that he just, like, said he liked me and everything, and we are continuing. I mean, it wasn't like an actual relationship, but then, like, all of a sudden just, like, dropped off cold turkey and stopped talking to me
Hmm.
out of nowhere, which was, like, very against everything I'd learned about him because he's super nice and kind to me, and then all of a sudden, give me the cold shoulder out of nowhere, a little out of the blue.
Did he ever contact you again?
It was a while later, but we connected again, and we went out several times. I don't know if officially if it was a date or not, but I guess essentially it was. And he did apologize for how he acted that way, but he never like gave me an explanation
Hmm.
as to why or whatever. But like we're we're on good terms. I mean, like we don't talk a lot, but I feel like things ended okay between us. But
In looking back in your dating life, have you ever thought that you did something that you think was just insane in looking back? Or like, why did I do that? Why did I act like that?
like insane and it turned out good, or insane and it was bad.
I guess either way.
Either
You
way,
probably haven't. You're
okay.
probably not insane at all. You're probably completely 100%.
Yeah, no, I no, looking back, it feels kind of insane. It just worked out to be good and okay right now,
Oh,
so it's
okay.
good, but, um, I, after me and my boyfriend started dating, it was the end of November, that was, like, officially we started dating, but we had been talking all up and to this
Hmm.
point. Um, I decided was gonna be done living in Idaho anyways by the end of December, I just didn't know exactly where I wanted to go. So at this point, I was like, "Well, I might as well just move down to Utah because that's where he's at," and so I did in, like, the middle of January after we've been dating for less than 2 months, which I feel like is just kind of crazy, but also, like, it's worked out
Okay.
good, and it's been good for me because I feel like you get to know a person a lot more and better when you're in
Hmm.
person and spending a lot more time with them, so that part's been good for me, and I mean, it's just been better as a whole as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when insane turned out good.
Yeah. I know they don't all end up like that.
As we get more experience and we get older, we learn things or we change a bit over time. So I do think it's normal though to look
Yeah.
back years later, you're like, what was I thinking? Like, why did I do that? Like, why
Yeah.
was I, you know, so crazy or doing this stuff? And so I asked the question because Andie is just insane. She's insane.
Yeah.
Um,
Put it
at least she's
nicely.
acting insane while she's trying to
Yes.
achieve this ulterior motive. And let's talk about meeting the family. You alluded to the scene earlier. After the couple's therapy, they go visit Ben's family in Staten Island. And this is where the game that they're playing with each other, not knowing, of course, of each other's motives at this point, starts to turn real, especially for Andie at this point. What was it about this event you think that was that turning point for Andie?
I feel like Ben's family, the way like they talked about Ben, like yeah, like he never brings girls home. I think talked about that earlier, and the way that like he interacted with them, it showed like a different side of him, like how much he cared for them, and that he wasn't just a super cocky guy. That he was capable of a lot of love and caringness. I think that opened up a lot of her mindset for that, maybe.
She also got to see him in a different environment too,
Yeah.
which if you're dating someone, I think that's a positive to get to see somebody
Yes.
in different environments around family, around friends, different settings to
Hmm.
really get a sense of who they are and well rounded as a person. I agree with you, and I feel like she
Yeah.
got to see more of that side with Ben that she hadn't seen before. At least wasn't open to seeing it before either.
Yeah.
What if you were dating a guy and he brought you to his see his family and you heard those words? You were the first girl he's ever brought home. What would you think about that?
Like, oh wow, like this is serious.
Pressure,
Like,
pressure.
a little scary, little overwhelming for sure. Very overwhelming. Then you're just like, yeah, the pressure would be a lot more.
Have you met your current boyfriend's family?
Yes, I have.
How'd that go?
It went really good, honestly. His family is super friendly and very welcoming. They created a great environment for me to feel at home and to laugh with them and be with them. And very lucky enough, I feel like I get along with them very good too, just naturally, which means a lot. It's really nice, easy to be with them, and fun to be with them.
Were you feeling a lot of nerves, anxiety in meeting the family?
Yeah, especially when I met. So the first family I met was his brother and sister-in-law
Hmm.
and their little boy. They used to live in Utah, and so they were, my boyfriend would be with them a lot, so they were super close. I was really nervous because I'm like, oh my gosh, if the brother and sister-in-law don't like me, it's over because these are some of his best friends. So I was a little nervous about that, but they were super friendly, asked me lots of questions, made it really easy. So as soon as like we started talking and everything, it was great. But leading up to it, like I remember we were in the car ride over to meet them, and I was like, should I like give them a hug when I see them or no? And he's like, oh, you'll just know. And I was like, like you have to tell me. I don't know. Just overthinking all the little stuff, and
Any advice to any of our listeners who, um, might be nervous about meeting a significant other's family, or what would you offer kind of on that subject?
to be more open-minded. My families are all just so different. There's obviously good and bad things with some family relationships, but I feel like a lot of them are just different things that are good things. But coming to like understand their family dynamics, not being like, oh, how's like this doesn't make sense because my family's like this, but instead being like, oh, like this is your family dynamics and this is the roles you guys play in the family. I feel like that was good for me to be open and just watch for a little bit. I mean, not just like sit back, like obviously you want to be involved and get to know them, but to observe how like they interact together helps me to know where I fit in with the flow with the family, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I think all families are kind of weird, or they at least have their
Yeah.
their quirks, the things that make them unique. Yeah, I know when it comes to meeting families, it sure makes things nicer when you get along with them, like you said. Not always the
Yeah.
case, but it sure does make things a lot nicer when you feel like you
Yeah.
mesh well with the family. Let's move on to my favorite segment, Anna, in Date Like the Movies, a segment called Date That Movie. The point of Date That Movie, Anna, is just for me and you both to share an idea that we've had from How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Anything at all that inspired this date idea, so that listeners can have a lot of ideas to keep things fresh, keep things exciting, keep things new. I will ask you to go first for your Date That Movie idea.
What I was just thinking of is, although in the movie, not portrayed great when she comes and decorates his whole apartment, I think as a couple it'd be really fun to decorate either your shared space or one of each other's spaces, to go shopping and window shopping to get some ideas together and plan out things, and then go and set up. I don't know whether it's furniture. That's what I'm trying to say. Or pictures, decorating stuff. I feel like that would be a fun activity to do for a date night.
You've taken like one of her insane moments in the movie and you've spun it into making it a positive date, which is awesome. That's what this segment is all about, which is anything at all can inspire a date idea. Have you ever had a date similar to that?
Yes, with my now boyfriend, he loves basketball shoes. So he
Oh,
has tons. And so we got like little bins to put his shoes in and display them. So we set them all up and then like designed it so it looked cool. Had like this cool slant with it. It looked pretty awesome. And that was fun quality time and putting together a little shoe case for him.
does he wear these shoes? Or is it just like a display?
Yeah, no, he wears them. He's really into basketball actually. So
I would like to meet him.
you should
We'll have him on the
meet him.
podcast. We'll
I was
have him on
just
as a
looking at him like
guest.
you guys would get along so good.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. So decorating a shared space together, a lot more creative than my idea. I just can't get away from the basketball theme. It's a big part of the movie, and I've just grew up as a huge basketball fan. One of my dreams would be going to an NBA final game, which
Oh,
is why when she makes him miss the last shot, I was like, oh, my heart was aching. I was like, no, that's that would have been the top on my list. Probably would be that one because I was like, oh, it's like a bucket list, and you made him miss it.
yeah.
But I'm going to take my day idea because the NBA final game, that's going to be tough. That's pretty specific, pretty and pricey, pretty specific. So I'm going to say a basketball game because I've had some fun even going to high school games, cheap tickets,
Yeah.
and there's tons of high schools around, and they're fun. They compete, they're
Yeah.
fun, it's inexpensive. You don't even have to know someone on the team to go.
Yes.
So I would say a basketball game, and then follow it up with a place to play a game of pool or billiards because in the movie there's a pool table in his office and the dog
Yes.
pees on the pool table in that one scene. um,
Yeah.
that's a two-parter idea is go to a game afterwards, find a place for a game of pool, and but this is just the tip of the iceberg with date ideas from this movie, as there's just so many, and they go on a lot of dates in the movie. The last segment we're going to talk about now, Anna, before we officially end this episode, is lights, camera, action. In the spirit of showbiz and the premise behind Date Like the Movies, this is where we have a chance to share an action or something that folks could take as a lesson from How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and apply it in their relationship endeavors. Now, let me say,
Mhm.
before we share some ideas or some thoughts on that, in no way am I ever advocating for doing whatever you see in a movie or, or in the TV show. Not at all, because there are some awful examples, some things of what not to do. But we here like to look for the positives. Anything coming to mind for you?
When Ben and Andy break up the first time when she goes to the poker night with him, and then they decide to do couples counseling, right? Ben's saying like, "No, like, wait, we got to make this work," and he's trying to make it work so he can, get the diamond bid or whatever and like move up in his company. But like realistically with couples, when something goes wrong, it's really easy just to be like, man, like I'm out, cut, like jump out a boat now, like we're done kind of thing. Instead of diving deeper of like, hey, like how can we come together with this and how can we grow closer together instead of just calling it quits, when those hard moments do come. I feel like it's important to push through. Obviously, like there's lots of sides to that, right? To an extent, I feel like, especially like the stuff you can work through, to definitely work
Yeah.
through that. And
Granted, it's
yeah,
a different
it
situation,
was
but you like the concept behind it, which is,
yeah, the concept was
yeah,
there.
let's
I was
not give
like,
up at the first sign of trouble,
yeah.
trying to work things out. I'm going to say intentional date planning. I feel like is a good
Mm,
theme throughout the movie. It's easier earlier on in a relationship because things are fresh, it's exciting, but then it's easy to get complacent. And it takes somebody who puts in some effort to be intentional, to make the quality time happen. Like you said, you love quality time, which doesn't just happen by chance. It happens because
mm,
people make it happen. And
exactly.
so that's why I think with date planning, uh, spontaneous is good too. But even that happens because you're open to the idea, of
Yeah.
spontaneous dates. So I would just say make sure date planning is a priority wherever
Yeah.
you're at in your relationship. Intentional date planning is huge, and Ben does a great job at it throughout the
He does
movie.
do a
He's
really good
got
job.
plans. He's got the lamb dinner. She does it too, although hers is a little bit, she kind of tricks him into the Celine Dion concert. I like Celine Dion though, so I was actually okay with that one.
Yeah, I'd be okay
Um,
being tricky.
Anna, thank you. Thank you for being
Yeah.
here today, for joining me on this episode to discuss how to do this guy in 10 days. Thanks to the listeners as well for joining in to this latest episode of A Date Like the Movies. Until next time, my friends, keep dating. Thanks so much.